All right, let's talk about multivitamins. It feels like something we should be taking, right? To fill in the gaps. But man, picking one out can feel like a pop quiz you completely forgot to study for. There are hundreds of bottles on the shelf, so how in the world do you choose? Well, in this explainer, we're going to cut through all that noise. I'm going to give you a super simple but really powerful way to make a smart choice.
You know the feeling, right? You're standing in that supplement aisle, just staring at this wall of bottles, and they all kind of promise the same thing. It is so overwhelming. If you've ever just frozen up, that classic analysis paralysis, trust me, you are not alone. It's super common, and there's actually a pretty good reason why it feels that way.
And this is the reason why. Kind of like the Wild West out there. Here's a really crucial thing to get. In the US, the FDA actually regulates supplements like they're food, not like they're drugs. So what does that mean? It means companies don't have to prove their stuff is safe or that it even works before they put it on the shelf. The responsibility? It falls right on us, the shopper, to be smart about it.
And this is why being smart about it matters so much. Check this out. Independent testing from a group called Consumer Lab found that almost a third, 32% of the multivitamins they looked at failed their quality tests. So either they didn't have the stuff the label promised, or even worse, some were contaminated. That's a huge number.
Okay, but don't worry. I'm not just going to leave you with that scary stat. We're going to turn all that confusion into confidence with what I call the Smart Shopper's Funnel. It's just 4 simple steps. We'll start with the form. Then we'll dig into the good ingredients you want, the bad stuff you want to avoid, and then we'll wrap it up with the most important final check of all.
Okay, let's jump into our first filter, the form. This is the most basic choice you're going to make. Are we talking about a pill, a gummy, or maybe a liquid? Each one has some pretty big pros and cons. So let's break this down. It's all about the trade-offs, right? Tablets and capsules, they're usually cheap, they last forever, but you gotta swallow them and your body has to work to break them down. Liquids, on the other hand, absorb super fast, which is awesome if you have any digestive issues, but they don't last as long and they can cost more. And then there are dummies. Look, they're easy, they're fun to take, but that convenience has a price. We're talking lots of sugar, they almost never have iron in them because of the taste, and the actual amount of vitamins in each gummy can be all over the place.
All right, so you've picked a form. Awesome. Now it's time to put on your detective hat and look at that label. Our second filter is all about spotting the best version of the key nutrients. Believe me, not all vitamins are made the same, and sometimes the difference between good and bad is just a couple of tiny letters on the ingredient list.
Let's start with vitamin E. You want the natural form, the one your body knows what to do with. That one starts with a D. Now, the synthetic version, the lab-made one, it starts with DL. See that? Just a tiny L is the difference. It looks small on the label, but trust me, it's a huge deal for your body. Okay, next up, folate. The one you're looking for is its active form, called methylfolate. The synthetic one you see everywhere is folic acid. The problem is, your body has to convert folic acid into that usable methyl form. And get this is the crazy part. Up to 60% of people have a genetic thing that makes it really hard for their body to do that conversion. So they might be taking it, but not actually getting the benefit.
And how about vitamin B12? Same story. You want the active form, methylcobalamin. The one to avoid? Cyanocobalamin. That cyano part of the name? Yeah, it literally comes from cyanide. Now, it's not enough to hurt you, don't get me wrong, but it is a massive red flag that you're looking at a cheap, low-quality product. Your body just prefers that methyl form.
Okay, so you found a bottle with the good stuff, the right forms of the vitamins. Awesome, but we are not done yet. For our third filter, we got to flip that bottle over and check out the other ingredients. This is where all the junk gets hidden, the fillers, the binders, all the additives you really don't want in your body.
And here are the big ones to watch out for. Titanium dioxide, it's basically an artificial whitener, and it's actually banned in Europe because of safety concerns. Artificial dyes, red number 40 and all that, they've been linked to behavioral issues. Hydrated oils are just plain old trans fats. And talc, it can sometimes be contaminated with stuff you really don't want, like asbestos fibers. None of this has any health benefit. It's just a sign of a cheap product.
All right, time for a pop quiz. This right here is a real ingredient list from a super popular kids vitamin. Just take a look. What do you see? I see sugar, then more sugar, cornstarch, 2 artificial dyes, the synthetic folic acid we just talked about, and an unspecified B12, which you can bet is the cheap synthetic one. I mean, this thing checks pretty much every single box of what to avoid. So we've filtered by the form, we've filtered by the good ingredients and the bad ones. Now it's time for the final.
And I'd say most important step, how can you really, truly be sure that what's on the label is actually what's in the bottle? And here's the ultimate shortcut. You don't have to just take the manufacturer's word for it. In this crazy, unregulated market, our absolute best tool is independent third-party verification. This is how you confirm that a product is pure and that it's potent.
These are the big three, the gold standard. You're looking for USP, NSF, or ConsumerLab.com. These are independent groups, nonprofits, that actually test supplements to make sure they have what they say they have, that they're free of nasty contaminants, and that they're made properly. Seeing one of these seals is your best shortcut to a high-quality product.
And hey, you don't have to just take my word for it. As Dr. Kim from Forbes Health says, these seals are the key. They show that a company went the extra mile to prove their quality and safety. Honestly, for any supplement you're thinking of buying, this should be non-negotiable. Of course, even with all these tools, your personal needs are completely unique. This is all for your information. It's not medical advice. The absolute best person to talk to is always going to be your doctor or a registered dietitian. They can give you personalized advice based on your own health. So let's put it all together in one simple checklist you can actually use. First, pick your form: pill, liquid, whatever works for you. Second, be a detective and check for those good active forms of nutrients. Third, scan the other ingredients for all those red flag fillers. And finally, number 4, look for that all-important third-party seal. And there you have it. You are now officially equipped to walk down that supplement aisle with total confidence. You've got the framework to tell the good stuff from the junk. So, the only question I have for you is, which bottle in your house are you going to go investigate first?